Hello guys, welcome to my village. I don't know how to do this intro in this video. I had made a whole setup. Let me show you the setup right now. Okay, I'm recording from the other phone I have. Here is the camera. Here is my laptop. I have set up OBS with a Droid Cam, but the issue was that Droid Cam didn't work great. So yeah, anyway, I had to use only OBS for recording because I don't have Audacity right now in this PC. And the reason I make this video, I think that software engineers are in a weird place right now, so I went to touch some grass. I wanted to make this video for a while now, but I couldn't find an angle for it. Like I wasn't certain what to say. So while I was brainstorming ideas for the script of this video, it finally clicked. I figured out what was bugging me about the situation and the transition we all are experiencing right now. So the thing is that our profession right now is transitioning from deep thinking cognitive work to a more managerial one. And I get it, I totally get it. This is the natural progression of our profession. We study CS or we are self-taught programmers. Then we get a job, we become code monkeys, we code all day. After a lot of coding, you have gained some experience and you are transitioning to a more senior role where you are managing juniors and you're telling them what to do, because you cannot do everything by yourself. And finally, you spend all day from one meeting to another one instead of coding. And don't get me wrong, that's not bad at all, but it's not for me. And now about the managerial thing that I said earlier is something that I believe everybody who vibe codes has felt. Staring at the loading screen, waiting for the AI to do its task. Okay, somebody will say that we are thinking about the stack we are going to use, the design patterns we will tell the AI to do, or we may research what works best for a project. Also, you may think about the architecture and stuff like this. But in my opinion, at least, I think that our mind is always one step before diving into the deeper territory of thinking. And that's actually what is bugging me. Okay, now let's think about this for a second. First of all, let me clear out this, that vibe coding of course can involve deep thinking, but when you pause and wait for it to respond, you cut the focus stream that you're slowly forming when you deeply thinking about a problem. And it's not that you lost your focus entirely. When you read the output of the AI, your mind is again back into it. You're thinking again about the problem. But this pause cuts off the deep focus state by default. And I believe that everybody who codes has felt that, losing the sense of space and time while you're thinking about a problem and how you will code the solution. This continuous loop of problem-solving circle is what allows you to get consistently into a deep focus state. But on the other hand, business people, project managers, senior developers who now have more time to think the business aspect of the software may say that I'm completely wrong. And to be honest, they may be correct. And I wouldn't know anyway because I haven't ever done their job. I'm not here to preach, I'm just here to yap about the things in my head. And then there is the learning aspect of it. Reading the output of an LLM about a topic that you're trying to learn and you are interested in, it feels easy and organic. You come up with questions and you keep asking it and it keeps the conversation going, and in one afternoon you are an expert in Kubernetes, let's say. But I honestly wonder, did you really fully understand the concept that you're trying to learn? Because in my mind, learning something new gives me a feeling of excitement, but it also gives me a feeling of uncertainty and difficulty. And that's why I still do DSA stuff and traditional coding, because I don't want to lose touch with all those things that are difficult, but you know you have to do in order to evolve. I live for moments that I finally comprehend something very difficult, but at the same time I'm completely aware how difficult the path to get there can be. And your mind will constantly trick you into doing the easiest stuff all the time, because that's how our minds work. And that's why I'm skeptical about vibe coding. I enjoyed it so much that I find it scary. I completely adore the idea of a solo developer being able to build almost anything he can think of, and in a fraction of the time. But at the same time, I'm scared of my problem-solving muscles getting weaker. All this, in my head, it's a very thin line to walk, because on one hand, you have something that is very difficult, and it may be already deprecated, but helps your mind level up and being able to think about stuff deeply and solve hard problems. And on the other hand, you have something that is very enjoyable, that is the future right now, and can bring results very quickly, but takes away the low-level stuff that may be important for a junior dev. I'm sure opinions on this front can vary. And then again, you may say that you're still problem solving a lot with vibe coding. And to be honest, I agree. But problem solving, it's not binary. It's not you're doing it or you're not doing it. There are easy and difficult problems that exist out there. But I think vibe coding has to do with the more easy ones than traditional coding do. I know it sounds weird, but let's think a little bit about it. Let's do an example. Let's say we have some data in an array and you want to get the index of the element with the lowest value. In vibe coding, let's say that you have to think about what is the best algorithm in your situation to apply here. And then you just have to prompt it. But in traditional coding, instead of only having to think about what algorithm to choose, you also have to code it yourself. Sure, coding the whole algorithm by yourself, it's a mundane procedure, but still it's a little bit harder than just prompting the AI. And of course, most of the time you will just copy-paste, but you will have to adjust the whole algorithm in order to apply in your situation. And there is when you have to think a little bit about what the whole algorithm does. And if we scale it up, the distance between the magnitude of those two different approaches becomes bigger. Then we have the whole outsource your thinking thing. In the first situation, you don't even have to think about what algorithm to apply there, because the agent already knows better than you. And there will be other times that you don't even have to think about the problem at all. You will just have an abstract idea, you will describe it to the agent, and the agent will do all the thinking and problem solving. And the problem is that if you outsource everything to the agent, what's left of you? And I know this complaint will not take an award, but the whole situation is bothering me, because I just wanted to have a job that challenged my mind daily. Maybe I have a superiority complex, because my job made me feel special, a digital wizard. The first time that I got a software engineer job, I was very happy. I didn't know shit, but after a while I was able to do stuff. I realized while software engineering is not exactly rocket science, it is a highly specialized job, yet it can be learned on the job. But even then I felt special being able to shape software with my will. I thought that it was cool solving all those little problems one by one, getting a dopamine hit line by line. But now, let's roll a flashback. When I was in the university, a friend of mine that didn't know me very well back then, because we just had started the university, told me, you chose that career because you wanted to make your hobby your job. And when I thought about it, I thought that he was right. I was indeed enjoying programming even back then. They say that make your hobby your job and you won't have to work a day in your life. When I was little, I saw adults going to work every day and I was like, I don't want ever to do this. But despite that, I was going to school every day and I was studying hard afterward. And I was studying hard not because I wanted to, but because I didn't want to be yelled by my teachers. And that was a very bad way to learn how to study and work hard. And later, when I get a little bit older, I started to not care about it. And also the teachers started to examine us less and less on a daily basis. That was high school for me. And because of that, I didn't have motivation to study. But even then, I kept loving the feeling of understanding something new and solving a problem. And that's because that feeling was familiar from my younger years. And then I got lucky. I had a physics teacher that was quite awesome. He told me how to think about problems naturally and not trying to solve them from inside the formulas and textbooks. Once I got good at physics, I picked up math. I became good, not great, but good. And then I always had the thing about programming. The mic is dead, so I will continue like this. I always liked programming, even from school back then. And for some reason, algorithmic logic made sense to me from the start. And that is me now. I have forgot most of maths and physics right now, but I stuck with programming. I certainly stayed away from deep thinking for years, trying to understand what I want to do with my life. But right now, at least, I know this. I will keep training my ability to focus and wrestle with difficult problems. And I may have to pivot in order to find a job, and that's fine. But it's necessary for me to have an activity like programming that keeps my mind sharp. Something that works for me about vibe coding is that I vibe code when I have exhausted the daily mental batteries of deep thinking. And because vibe coding works that way, it has a very small feedback loop and you can see results very quickly. It helps me going at the end of my day. And I can keep up doing a side project with it. And one last thing that I want to add is that we, as software engineers, live a lot closer to this whole AI revolution than regular people do. At first, we were told and we were telling ourselves that AI is going to replace jobs in other industries. But right now, one of the best applications of it, if not the best, is programming. If you combine those things together, you can understand a little bit better why software engineers are in a weird place right now. We are in the eye of the storm. But sometimes we have the illusion that everyone around us is experiencing the same thing that we do. Everybody is affected and everybody is going to be affected, but right now we among the first. Because of that rapid evolution, it's like watching the whole world from a time machine. Everything inside the glass dome of our industry moves twice as fast, if not faster, compared to the rest of the world. And like I said earlier, I'm not here to preach, I'm not here to come up with a conclusion or an answer to all this. I'm just here to yap. And that's the thing that it's important most of the time, go to touch some grass.